Almost 30 years on from his death, the story of James Bulger's murder is as shocking as ever. In 1993, two 10-year-old boys tortured and murdered the toddler after leading him away from a shopping center in Bootle, Merseyside. James was a month away from turning 3 when he was killed. His mutilated body was found 2 days later, on a railway line 2.5 miles away. Killers Robert Thompson and John Venables were sent to a Young Offenders Institute, where they stayed until their release at the age of 18 in 2001. James's younger brothers have spoken about the pain their family still feels from losing him in a new documentary, Lost Boy: The Killing of James Bulger, which is airing on Channel 5. "He's never not been part of the family. We have a spare chair around the Christmas table," said Michael Fergus, 27. What happened to James Bulger? CCTV footage from the New Strand shopping center in Bootle taken on the 12th of February 1993 shows Thompson and Venables observing children, seeking out a target. James had been taken to the shopping center by his mother Denise, who was briefly distracted in a butcher's shop and noticed her son had disappeared. Thompson and Venables took James to the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, where he was dropped on his head and suffered facial injuries. 38 people saw the 3 boys together, but most did nothing to intervene, or left after Thompson and Venables claimed they were all brothers. They threw paint in his eyes, threw bricks at him, kicked him and put batteries in his mouth. James suffered 10 skull fractures after the boys dropped a 10 kilograms iron bar on his head, and eventually died from his injuries. Thompson and Venables placed James's body on the tracks, weighing his head down with rubble, in the hope a train would hit him and make his death look like an accident. After they left the scene, his body was cut in half by a train, and found 2 days later. How were Robert Thompson and John Venables caught? The boys were identified when a woman recognized Venables from CCTV footage shared by the police. There was lots of physical evidence tying them to the scene of the crime, including paint on their clothing that matched that on James's body. They were charged with his murder on the 20th of February 1993. The boys were referred to as Child A, Thompson, and Child B, Venables throughout the trial. The case against them was based largely on 20 hours of video interviews conducted by police. The boys did not speak during the trial. On the 24th of November 1993, Thompson and Venables were found guilty, becoming the youngest convicted murderers of the 20th century. They were sentenced to a minimum of 8 years in a juvenile detention center. What happened to them afterwards? After their releases in 2001, both Thompson and Venables were given new identities on the understanding that they had been rehabilitated and did not break the law again. In 2008, 7 years after being released from prison, Venables was arrested after a drunken fight and was given a formal warning by the probation service. He was also given a caution for being in possession of Class A drug cocaine. 2 years later he was sent back to prison after he was found with images of child sexual abuse. The parole board recommended his release in 2013. However, in 2017 he was arrested again for possessing child abuse images, and sentenced to 40 months behind bars in February 2018. Venables, whose identity has been changed twice more since his initial release on account of it being compromised, is expected to have a parole hearing in October. Thompson's new identity is protected by an unprecedented injunction, which applies around the world, meaning that even searching for his address could lead to a prison sentence. He has not re-offended since being released, and in 2010 it was reported he was in a long-term relationship with a man who knows his true identity.